Hello, my name is Mike Senko from Peace of Mind Counseling Services. Thank you for clicking on the second video session of my multi-video session series entitled Are You Feeling Anxious? Me Too. In the first video session, we discussed the myths associated with anxiety. In this video session, we're going to discuss the origins and the physiology of anxiety. When we are posed with a physical threat, we have one of three possible options. These options are beyond our conscious awareness. They are instinctively triggered. The first two are the most common, fight or flight. The third one, as discussed by Babette Rothschild in her book A Body Remembers, talks about how both the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems combine and are both activated to create the physiology of freeze. That is when the person becomes paralyzed. In her example, she talks about a field mouse being chased and caught by a cat. In this example, the field mouse goes limp to play dead in the last-ditch effort in order to ensure survival under the premise that a cat is not going to eat dead meat. Now, humans can go under the same experience, but usually the situation has to be very, very traumatic and very severe. So because I'm not going to focus on the severe of anxiety, I'm focusing on a broader brush of anxiety. I'm going to focus on the most common two, fight or flight. If I was being chased by a dog, my instinctual response is to assess the situation and decide whether I have time to fight or I have time to leave the situation. When this experience is occurring, conscious thought is not taking place, but my body goes through some distinct physiological actions. The blood allocation that is distributed throughout my body gets funneled and channeled into specific areas of my body. Blood that usually goes to my extremities, my hands, my feet, and my head, and organs that are used for development, such as my stomach and my reproductive organs, all that blood gets moved into my major muscle systems. The reason this happens is for me to prepare to fight or to run. This creates the physical symptoms of cold, sweaty palms, feeling lightheaded and dizzy, feeling shortness of breath because all of my energy is being transferred to muscle systems and my adrenaline is starting to get kicked up. My stomach might feel like I have butterflies in my stomach. I might feel queasy because the blood is moving away from my stomach and moving more toward my legs and my arms and my chest to fight or to run. Now, I'm sure you can imagine that if an individual is under a constant state of fight or flight, all the blood and energy being moved away from their major organs that are used for growth, how this can create long-term medical complications. That's what happens in my body during the fight or flight response. What happens now in my brain is that I start to encode these memories of being chased by a dog. I encode the environment that I'm in, what I am physically wearing, where I am in time and space, and that gets encoded in my subconscious mind. Neuroscience tells us that 95% of our experience after age 35 is lived unconsciously. The other 5% of our daily experience is conscious. By that, I mean I choose what I am doing. I can think into the future, I can think into the past, or I can remain present. Or my unconscious mind, the 95% of my experience, is always remaining in the present moment. Now, this present moment unconsciousness can sometimes get in the way and trigger things that my body believes is currently happening. So consciously, I can sit here and think about my mortgage payment and if I paid it or not. My body will be triggered, my nervous system will be triggered through a conscious level thought. That is something that is within my awareness. Now, an unconscious level thought is if I was going past the same environment, the same house, going down the same road, wearing the same type of clothing, or where I was being attacked by a dog, my unconsciousness encoded this into my unconscious memory. Now you can see how I can become triggered without even me being aware of it. I might be wearing the same shirt that I was wearing or smell this familiar smell that occurred during the dog attack. Now my body physiologically gets transplanted back into the past, and I am operating as if my body is living physically in the past. And the key here is I am not consciously aware of that transition. So a lot of my anxious triggers, for the most part, can be largely unconscious. We're going to be working on how can we align our conscious and unconscious minds through a variety of exercises. But you can see in this situation of me being chased by a dog, symptoms of panic can occur that I don't have any conscious connection to. Other experiences of anxiety can be connected through past patterns of fear. Now, patterns of fear can be triggered by one specific event or events that happen over time. Either way, my subconscious mind encodes this into an unconscious memory. So that is how my brain, my mind, which encompasses my physical body and my brain in and of itself, my earliest formation of the brain, and that's my unconscious mind, and my conscious mind is my prefrontal cortex, the most last evolved part of the brain that allows me to think past, present, and future, how they interact with one another, and how both can contribute to my anxiety. We're going to continue to talk more in our next series of videos in terms of how I can control my conscious level thought and recondition myself, reprogram my unconscious experiences to manage my anxiety as well. Thank you for clicking on the second video. I hope to see you in my future videos. Once again, if you have any other comments or questions, please feel free to post them and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Thank you very much.